Today I just released the first major upgrade to the YODA architecture, the architecture for building your own AI thinking partner. And based on my usage and more importantly the feedback I got from all the people who are using the tool, it was clear that we were missing a behavioral step early in the process. So we had Socrates there to challenge our assumptions. We had Jesus there to make sure we were being empathetic to all the different stakeholders who were impacted by the decision. We had Mr. Spock there to make sure we weren't falling for any logic biases or logic flaws. We had the UN Steward involved, making sure we had long-term sustainability contemplated and factored in. And finally, we had Aristotle at the last person in the chain to make certain that we had evidence to back a recommendation, that if there's no evidence, it doesn't hallucinate and make stuff up. Aristotle says, start over again, dude. But what we were missing is someone at the very front, someone to play detective, to observe, to explore, to diagnose, to really understand what was going on. And what better detective could we find than Sherlock Holmes himself? So we've added the Sherlock Holmes persona into the step 3, which is our intelligence narrative. So now we go from 5 to 6 different narratives, different people who are looking at different perspectives to ensure that we have instilled the right kind of collaborative, questioning, fact-based, evidence-based, diagnostic behaviors that guide this tool. That helps us to address hallucinations, it helps us to address a regression to the mean, it does all these valuable things. It sets the behavior of the tool. So that's why we added that. And I thank all my users out there who gave me feedback, and it was great and really came to a consensus that this was sort of something we needed to add. What was also really important for me was to prove that we could actually do a major upgrade. And this is a pretty major upgrade. It required changing all the 3 of the files that support this and the activation prompts. We had to change the operating manual, we had to change the intelligence disciplines, we had to change the activation prompt. But it was doable, very doable. And I sent it out to folks and I'm getting really good feedback on it. And it gives me confidence as I look kind of down the path as far as, okay, once we've got this sort of rocking and rolling, what's next for YODA? What are some of the problems that we need to go after? And so watch this space. One that I'm very intrigued by is how do we move from correlation-based decision making to causal-based, and how can YODA help us to drive that? And got a lot of stuff sort of in the works on that. That's not going to be a short release, mind you, or I should say soon, but it's something that I really want to work in because we know that correlation-based decisions are dangerous. They give you average responses, and we want to move away from average to be very, very granular and specific on the actions we're going to take. We have the ability to do interventions and counterfactuals in our decision making, and let's see what I can do in turning YODA into a causal-based tool in the process. So again, I know the release process now. I have it down. I feel very confident. Now I just need to come up with the next release. No small task. Again, thanks everybody for joining us on this journey. I've got a large number of people who are really testing it, giving me good feedback on the product. Hey, I'm going to put a link in the comments of this video. If you want to join us, it's really, really expensive. You got to buy YODA a cup of coffee. And if you buy him a cup of coffee, you can come along on the trip. So hopefully you feel like a cup of coffee is a good investment for someone who wants to really transition from a sort of an average AI tool that gives you generic results to an AI thinking partner that can really challenge you to become your best. Anyway, cheers. You'll hear more from me soon.